Hi there. So if you've clicked on this video, then you're wanting to know how to hook your DJI Osmo Pocket 3, Pocket, not Action, up to a bicycle. And if that interests you, then keep watching because you're watching Blue Collar Guy. Okay, we're back. So in this video, we're going to be talking about hooking the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 up to a bicycle. And before I go further, I just want to say that if you're using it for mountain biking or an extreme sport, then I would highly recommend going with the Action 4 instead. The Osmo Pocket 3 is a gimbal camera, and it's great for walking and jogging, and yes, you can put it on a bicycle. But I would not recommend anything more than riding around town. I've seen videos where people use them on urban bicycles and they ride around town, and it seems to work okay for that. But I've also seen videos where people hook them up to fast sports cars, and they're putting a lot of G-forces on this camera. And I really don't think it was designed for that. I don't think the engineers designed it for that. But I do think that it's okay if you were to hook it up to, like, let's say an e-bike. And in my particular case, I'm going to be hooking up to an e-bike to get a headshot so that when I'm moving around on my bicycle from side to side, it still puts my head in frame. And I decided to get a mount so that I can transfer it from my studio onto my bicycle. And you don't want to break this camera, even though it's not like a $5,000 or $6,000 camera. It's still an expensive camera to me, and I want to make sure that it's well taken care of. And it's also a very important camera to my studio setup. So I'm going to go to the downward shot. And this, I'll put myself in the corner here. So this is the mount I got. It's made by Small Rig. And if you're wondering what camera I'm using to do the downward shot, I made a video on that too. It's called the Makos, and I know you've never heard of that. It's a little Chinese camera. And it's got laser autofocus. And you can check out my videos and see that as well. And if you're new to Blue Collar Guy, then subscribe, because a lot of what I do pertains to the budget of a blue collar person. So everything I show you, you should be able to afford with your own money. And yeah, it won't break the bank. So this is the Small Rig bicycle mount. It's made of aluminum. It's very well built. It's got a little clamp here, so you can literally clamp it anywhere on there with very little effort. It's got a little ball mount here, so you can move your camera around. And on the one side, it's got this little hook thingy so that you can get a different angle completely. So if you need to mount your camera so it's vertical this way, and then you want to clamp on something this way, you can. So we'll just go to the other side angle here. So that's what it looks like if you're mounting it that way. And then if you were to put it this way, then, and this would be facing down. So I'm going to go and let me turn on my computer here. And we're going to go and find that unit. And I'm going to queue it up here so we can see how much it costs. Because it wasn't that expensive. So here it is here. It was $18.39, so it won't break the bank. Okay? And here is a little video of what it looks like. I've taken the sound out of the video because, I don't know, potential copyright problems. But there's nothing wrong with advertising a product for another company. I'm sure they'll be happy about it. After all, I'm making a YouTube video. And I bought this product myself. So this is not a sponsored video. I did not receive this for free. There's the dimensions of it. So it has an opening range of 54 millimeters, if you're wondering. There's your tightening. It's got a T-bar, no slip rubber mount. And that's the ball part of it that you can mount. So, you know, you can put a camera monitor. It's got a maximum load of 3 kilograms. That's good to know. You can put about 6 pounds. A kilogram is 2.2 pounds. So if you want to know the conversion, that's what it is. So times 2.2 times 3, so over 6 pounds you can put on there. And they're using it as a camera monitor on that one. But I'm going to be mounting it to a bicycle. Okay, so I'm just going to get out of that shot and go back to me. And there we go, take me off the corner. Okay, so I'm going to be hooking it up to my DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I've also got one of these. Now this is the receptacle for the Ulanzi mount. And I did a video on the different kind of camera mounts. So if that interests you, you should probably check out those videos too. I've made a lot of videos. So anyways, I'm going to take this one out. And by the way, Ulanzi, in my opinion, is overpriced because not even the whole mount. I just got the base plate, and I paid more for the base plate than I did for this whole mount here. And it's a lot more involved. So is Ulanzi overcharging for their stuff? Yes. Because I think it's because they know that we need some of those type of mounts, and a lot of those type of camera companies that make these accessories, you know. So you take this and you can literally screw it into here. Let me go back to the downward shot and I'll show you. Let me get rid of some of this fluff here. Okay, so I'll put myself in the corner so you can see my gorgeous face there. And by the way, this mount here also has the Arca Swiss notches in it too, so you can put it on a tripod as well. So, and I paid, I think, $24 just for that little piece. So here is the mount with the quick release. So if you don't want to have to thread things on and off, you can use the quick release. And I'm going to demonstrate with the Action. So if you take the Action 4, I've got the magnetic quick release as well. So you can just clip that on and off. But I also have the base quick release. So then I can take that and I can snap that on there. And now I've got a bicycle mount for that as well. So, and you just make sure that that's good and tight, because if it's not, then things are going to move around on you, and you're not going to want that. So this is, just make sure everything's turned and tightened, and away you go. So I'm going to put I'm not going to be putting the Action 4 on there. I'm going to be putting the Osmo Pocket 3 on here instead. And but I just demonstrating with the Action 4, but I have the same release on the Pocket 3. So I'm just going to go and change cameras here. Let me just throw some of this junk in the garbage here. We'll call it recycling. And I'm going to queue up that camera. So here is the Osmo Pocket 3. And there is the same type of camera base that I have on here. And it's just going to snap onto this one over here, see? So it's not going to be a problem transferring it. So I could literally swap this one and that one. These two cameras are literally interchangeable, and this one's interchangeable in 2 different ways. So if you're interested in these type of little releases, like I said, I made a video on that, and you should go check it out. So you can actually make things a lot more flexible by using these interchangeable releases. So I'll just put down the webcam. And if you're wondering how to hook up a webcam to a streaming device, I also made a video on that too. So check out all the videos. I would be very grateful. And so yeah, here is the tripod, here's the bicycle mount. So I could transfer it 2 different ways. If I had that other part hooked into here, I could just transfer it with the magnetic, right? But instead, I'm going to use this, and then there you go. And it's got a locking mechanism, so you can literally lock it out. So you just flick that switch and then you can't push it and take it out. So you have to actually go like that to pop it out. So, and that's about it. So the next time you see me talking into, and I'm just going to go back to my Osmo Pocket 3 here. So this is my Osmo Pocket 3. So I can use the Osmo Pocket 3 with this bicycle mount now. And I can also hook up the, there's another type of cage that you can get for the Osmo Pocket 3, so that instead of it holding it or supporting it from the bottom, it's supporting it around the body itself. Okay, so I've got it hooked up now to the other type of mounting system, and this is the one that clips around the body of the DJI. So let me just switch cameras here. I'm going to go to camera number 2. So this is the mount that you can use, and it will go into the bicycle mount that I just got from SmallRig. And this is the DJI, like the body type of mount, I guess you could call it. You can even put a light on there or a microphone, external microphone. And it supports the camera instead of from the bottom, which is one way you can use this, device. You can support it from the side as well, which is a little bit more stable for a lot of people. So you can hook it up that way too. And I'll just go back to my other camera shot here. So that is the other way you can hook it up. And I may use this method. So, I haven't decided yet, but I do want my camera to be safe, but I do think that having this moving tracking shot, and I've also got the ND filters for, outside use. And when you're filming yourself, you're going to have situations where the sun could be in your face, or you could have issues with the sun. And if you're going to have issues with the sun at all, then I would recommend getting a set of ND filters.
There we go. So I'm going to adjust this camera a bit. There we go. Just to get me. We got the one on there. All right. All right. Okay. Then away we go. No speeding today. Just a cruise around the neighborhood. So the gimbal camera is bouncing around a lot. I wonder how the stabilization is. The DJI Mic 2, like I said, we're not going too far today. We're just cruising around the neighborhood today. Just cruising at a normal pace. The face tracking is working okay, but I got my ND filters, but I'm not using them. This is without the ND filters. I don't know if it's going to work or not. The problem with putting some of these filters on is that you don't know if it's going to make it too dark or not. With a little bit of gas. And we should get some interesting camera angles for sure. But this is a lot of cameras on a bicycle. You know, I got one just pointed to my feet. I got the GoPro on. I suppose if somebody runs me over, I'll have lots of evidence. I never go fast through these areas. Well, are you gonna go or what, buddy? There. Sunday driver. We'll see if and by the way, I'm looking into the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. The frontward camera is the DJI Action 4. The 360 camera is the GoPro Max. And the little one at my feet is the cheap little Akaso. And I'm talking into the DJI Mic 2, just to confirm, through the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, because I'm just using audio from one source. I don't need to use it for all of them at the same time. That would be ridiculous. So I synced everything together just with not necessarily a hand clap, but a hand gesture. And it's not entirely in sync because there's just so many bloody cameras, you know, it's hard to sync everything at once. And that's where I'm getting at, is that in the future I'm going to find an easier way, because normally what they have to do is they have to use a stuff called time code. And I'm going to show you, they have different kind of time code generators, but not all cameras can do it. You can do it with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 and with the Action 4. It does have time code, but it tends to drift. And better than nothing, mind you. But in order to keep it in sync, you would have to you have to get jam sync generators. And they're like $1,000. The cheapest ones I think are like 200. And that's a lot. And I'd like to find another way. So I think I did find a new way to do it, so that when I'm editing, I can sort of edit on the fly like we do in the studio. So I'm going to do a type of post-production in the studio. And I think that it's going to turn out pretty good. Now, the only thing is, with having multiple cameras, of course, you're going to have a lot of equipment that you've got to set up. So this is quite the production to set all this up before you do it. It's almost like you're doing like a little movie set, you know? And it's a lot of work. That kid almost drove his bicycle. He was going the wrong way, down the wrong side of the street. So he was going against traffic. Apparently no one taught him where to ride or how to ride a bicycle, because you go with the flow of traffic, with the cars, and that's how scary things happen. So I'm not going to take it on the busy streets, because if something was to come loose or fall apart or whatever, it's going to fall on the road, and it's going to be very expensive. And we don't want that. So I figure just to cruise around the neighborhood a few times, you know, we don't need to, we're not speed demons today, not with all this gear. We're not pulling a lot of G-forces, and that was the other thing too, is people are hooking the Osmo Pocket 3 up to cars, and you know, the G-forces are just a little bit too much for this camera. So I do think it's rather interesting, though, that it kind of works, but it's not good for the camera. The Action 4 is designed for this. So we're going to be putting the different shots on the screen to show you. I'm going to be panning between the Action 4 and the Osmo Pocket 3 just to show you the difference between the cameras. And this street, by the way, is super bumpy. And that's the whole point of that I put the Akaso on there. So I put the Akaso on there to show you what a camera looks like when it has no image stabilization whatsoever. So, you know, that's what I mean. Like, a lot of people say, are you crazy for getting that camera? But the camera does give me a little bit of creativity in that. Two reasons. One, if it breaks, well, the accessories alone are basically worth the camera, in my opinion, or close to it. And the other issue is it shows the roughness of the road. So it's kind of showing you what I'm really experiencing, because even though I have a suspension seat post and all kinds of other things on this bicycle, I'm still getting a lot of the vibrations. And when you watch people going downhill on a mountain bike with a GoPro 12 or a DJI Action 4, you're seeing a real smooth shot. You're like, wow, that's really smooth. Those shocks on that bicycle must be amazing, but they're not. He's feeling a lot of those bumps. But the EIS is taking all of that out, because to view a video like that, you know, you're in for a real headache. You know, it's going to be real jittery. That's why you would never ever use that Akaso as your primary camera, because people would get nauseous just looking at the footage, because it would be so shaky. And having a stabilized image brings a whole new, it's almost cinematic view of it. Now, I've got the DJI Action 4, I believe, on 4K 30 with Rocksteady on. I hope I put the right setting on there. Otherwise, we're going to have a different image than normal. It could be 1080p, I don't know. We'll find out. I'll know when I play it back. So, but anyways, yeah. Oh, there's lots of pollen in the air right there. That's not going to be good. I'll feel that one tonight. Anyways, yeah, this road is terrible, like absolutely terrible. So the Osmo is working out pretty good. It's starting to lean back more and more though. So I think that there we go. And a lot of impatient people in Montreal. And we're going to just turn back in, and that'll be it for today to do our test. Oh, and this roads back where I live are absolutely horrible too. And we should get some interesting views of what that looks like with the cameras as well. And that should be it. So, yeah, that did start to creep back a bit. But, you know, the gimbal kept things in frame. So when things start to vibrate on that, and the mounting gets a little bit loose, at least you have that. So probably good that we didn't go on a very long bike ride, because it gives you a chance to check out your camera system. However, I could be overexposed, or you know, that's what the ND filters are for. And that's the whole point of getting different camera angles. If one camera angle isn't working, you can still salvage your video with other camera angles. So we're going to go back into the studio. I'm going to try and eliminate some of this background noise.
Anyways, take care, be safe at work, and I'll see you at the next video.